Okay, so we're going to finish up 2.1 today. It's going to be pretty short. It's only a couple slides. Okay, so we talked about limits. There's also something called a one-sided limit. Okay, a one-sided limit is if a number is only approaching it from one side. So in the last homework problem that we did, I talked about, the graph on the left is going to positive infinity, the one on the left, or the right, is going to negative infinity. That's because it's coming from different sides. So this is how you're going to see a right-handed limit, and this is how you're going to see a left-handed limit. So it's going to have a number, and it's going to have a small plus sign after it. A left-handed limit has a small minus sign after it. Can't see. Okay, so the plus sign, this is how you're going to read it. The limit of f of x as x approaches whatever number from the right. So its plus sign is coming from the right. Okay, so this is the right side. It's coming from the right. Left-handed limit, okay, the limit of f of x as x approaches whatever number from the left. So if you're looking at the left of the graph, it's coming from the left.
Oh. So would the number be negative or the...
It doesn't matter what the number is. It's just be at the top. So it doesn't matter if it's positive or negative. So this could be -3 from the left, or it could be -3 from the right. So it's -3, if we're talking about coming from the left, we'll have the minus sign above it. If we're talking about it coming from the right, we'll have a positive sign. Like this. It'll look something like this. Alright. So here's f of x. Okay, the step function is f of x. This is the limit as x approaches 3 from which direction? The right or the left? Right. On the right. Go ahead and copy that down first.
Do you suggest you copy down the graph?
Yeah. You don't need to do all of them. Just copy from here to here. From like -1 to 4.
So it doesn't tell you where it starts, it just tells you what direction, right?
Right.
Okay. So it's not starting at 3 and going to the right.
No, it's not starting at 3 and going to the right. It's coming from the right, going to 3. So as x approaches 3 from the right, so here's the right side, it's approaching 3, so it's going this way. Okay, I'll show it to you guys again after you copy it. Alright, so if you can't see this in the back, it's 3 approaching from the right, so it's a small plus sign. Okay, here's 3. X on your x-axis is approaching 3, so it's approaching this number here. And it's approaching it from the right, so we're going to start on the right side, we're approaching it this way. When we're approaching it this way, tell me when it actually starts hitting a graph.
Yeah.
Now, right? It's right here. Okay, so here's 3. There's this point here, and there's that one there. But if it's starting from the right, if it's coming from the right, is there any graph on the right side of this? No. Is there any graph on the right side of this? Yeah. So this is where it's approaching from. And then what's the y value here? 2. So the limit of f of x as x approaches 3 from the right is equal to 2. And this is going to be confusing because you've never looked at a graph this way before. But as it's coming from the right, where does it start, where does the graph start coming in? On the right, it's coming in from this side here. Okay, on the left, It's coming this way now. Approaching 3 still. So if it's coming from the left, is there any graph here? No, there's a graph down here, right? So if it's coming from the left as it gets closer and closer to 3, what's the y value? 1. Okay, so as x approaches 3 from the left. Okay, here's 3. The graph is approaching from the left, so it's coming this way. So here's 3. You kind of want to look on a little bit to the left of it. The y value is 1. So that's why the limit is 1. So if you look just a little bit to the left, that's what it is. Here you look just a little bit to the right, because that's where it's coming from. Your output is 2. Your y value is 2.
So then you can just like on x, and then the x3, and then like where the 2 points are. Oh, okay.
Okay, so hold on.
You can
Yep. Alright, any questions there? Okay, I'll go back. I just want to check something quick. Okay. Alright, let me just draw another example for you guys to see real quick. Let's say that that's 4, that's 2 right there. And I don't know, that's 2. So the limit as x approaches 2 from the right of f of x, so this function here, what's that going to equal to? 4, right? Because if you're coming from the right, you're on this part of the graph. If you look just a little bit to the right, is this graph here, so it's 4. The limit as x approaches 2 from the left of f of x. Okay, if it's from the left, you kind of look to the left a little bit. Where's their graph? There's a graph here, and that's at 2. So that's equal to 2.
So it doesn't matter if it's not filled in or not?
No, it doesn't matter if it's an open or closed circle. Because it's not at 2, it's approaching 2. It's getting closer and closer to 2. Okay, questions? Alright, so that was a one-sided limit. A two-sided limit, which looks like that, it doesn't have a plus or a minus. So it's just the limit as x approaches some number. So if you don't see a plus or minus, you can assume that they're talking about a two-sided limit. Okay, so a two-sided limit exists if and only if the one-sided limits are equal to each other. If and only if, as it approaches from the right, is equal as it approaches from the left. So in this example here, when it's approaching from the right, it's equal to 4. When it's approaching from the left, it's equal to 2. Is there a two-sided limit?
No.
No, because they're not equal to each other. Okay, it's as simple as that. Any questions there?
No.
And what's the comments down? We're going to look at another example where you have to look from left and right. Alright, go ahead and copy that down. we're going to find three things. We're going to find the limit of f of x as it approaches from the right, or as x approaches from the right, from the left, and then from both sides. So we're looking for the limit as it comes from the right, as it comes from the left, and we're going to look for it as it comes from both sides. Alright, so we're going to do it as the number approaches 1. So when it approaches 1 from the right, here's 1. You're going to look as it comes from the right. So it's coming from this side. As x gets super close to 1 from the right, what's your y value? 1. That's why it's 1. When it comes from the left, as it gets super close to 1 from the left, what's your y value? 1. And if these two are equal, what do we know about the limit of f of x as x approaches 1? What is it going to be? It is two-sided, but what is it equal to? As equal to 1. It's equal to both, right? So it doesn't matter what side it's coming from. The limit is 1. Okay, it doesn't matter if it's coming from the right, it doesn't matter if it's coming from the left. The limit as x approaches 1 is 1. No. Because x is not 1. X is approaching 1. So that's the confusing part. You guys are used to saying, okay, if x is 1, it's got to be 2. X isn't 1. X is just hella close to 1. It's super close, but it's not 1. So it's really a little bit to the right or a little bit to the left, but it's so close, we just say it's 1. Okay, any questions with this part first? Alright, so these two you're going to try on your own. Same graph. You're going to do when x equals 2. So you're going to find the limit of f of x, which is just this graph here, as x approaches 2 from the right, as x approaches 2 from the left, and as x just approaches 2.
I don't get the last one. Just put none. It's not a two-sided.
Alright, Ray, I'm still working on this? Alright, so if I don't know your name yet, I guess you're going to be off the hook. April. As x approaches 2 from the right, what'd you get? 3. Everyone agree with that? Yeah. Good. So here's 2. As x approaches it from the right, it's on this graph here, so that gets you 3. Kelvin, from the left? Okay, from the left, 2. So there's 2. As it approaches from the left, it's really coming from this side, so it's 2. And what about the limit of f of x as x approaches 2? Derek, what'd you get? 2. 2? Are these two equal?
No.
Then this doesn't exist. That's a D, not a no. Alright. Questions there? Does that make sense?
What's that last one say?
It does not exist.
Oh. I was like 1.
There's not 1, yeah.
How do you get 2 from the left?
So here's 2, right? And then the graph is here or here. But if it's coming from the left of this has nothing. The left of this is this part right here. So if it's, as it's getting super close to 2, your y value is basically 2.
How come it's not 1? Because you're not really going like all the way.
Because you're going from the left, approaching 2, so it's coming towards 2.
Yeah, but let me go like further. Like the origin.
Why didn't they go this way?
No, from the origin to 2.
Well, because we still want to get it close to 2. So yeah, it does pass through 1, but it's not close enough to 2 yet.
Oh.
Okay, try these 3. When x is approaching 4. Okay, you didn't get these 3 right. If you know why, hopefully you can get these 3 correct. And then I'm going to look at the scene chart for those of you that I don't memorize your names yet. Alright. Anyone still working on this? Geneva, what did you get for this first one? 2. So as x approaches 4 from the right, that's 2. Good. From the left, Aaron. 2. As x approaches 4 from the left, 2. And Jordan, last one.
Oh, me?
What's your name, right?
Yeah. 2.
2. Because these are the exact same, the limit as x approaches 4 from either side will be 2. Any questions there? There's your assignment.